Welcome to the Angler Talk Podcast with Chris and Aaron. Brought to you by FishingMagicianTV.com.
What is up, everybody? It's Chris and Aaron back again with another week episode of Angler Talk. How we going, brother?
Good, buddy. Good, man. Getting out in the water more and more. Went out over the weekend with the family. Did a media check. We did the the little wireless mics that I just got for the GoPro, the light. Been just doing a really good media check with the family. That was fun, dude. Getting out there and kind of testing everything out.
That's awesome, man. Any time spent with the family is a good time, man. But
Yeah.
you know what we're here to talk about, fishing, man. How's it going? Have you been out there lately?
Yeah, so went out to the inlet. I think it was Thursday night here in Sebastian, and I hit that tide just perfect. I got that like weird kind of like, there's a famous fisherman that calls it non-human hours, right? So the non-human hour window, dude, that I find is like my prime time between slack and like incoming. So hit that perfect on the head, dude. Maybe a little shy by half an hour, but needless to say, dude, I threw a Z-Man paddle tail, my go-to, and worked it real slow along the like still spots between the pilings, and I hooked a tarpon, got him all the way to my feet. I got the small rig set up, the light is blaring, dude. I'm talking into the mic. I'm super excited. Right at my feet, he jumps and spits the hook, dude.
Oh,
Yep.
man. Hey, but at least you can show the people that you're not lying. You got footage of it, so.
Oh, dude, all the way up to my ankles, bro, and then me just losing it at that point. But
Hey, did by any chance, did you tap the leader?
did I tap it, dude? I did a ceremony on that fucking thing, dude. And this guy, he wanted no parts of it, Chris. I swear to you, dude. I even upstepped it to 80-pound fluoro, bro. Like I figured, like, listen, when the current's ripping out still, but it's also pushing in, I have to fight this fish out of the pilings to, against the tide, bro, to my feet. I got him there, Chris, and he jumped and said, nope. So, it is what it is, bro.
Well, let this be a lesson to you folks. When you're out there at night or any time of the day, what I like to call it, he said the unsomething hours.
Non-human hours.
The non-human hours. I just call it creeping while you're sleeping. Keep your line tight, folks. Keep it tight.
Yeah, don't loosen up. Don't think just because you got everything rolling behind you perfect that you can put a little bit of slack. But I mean, it happens so fast. Fishermen know this. Like I didn't position. Now thinking back, I didn't position my rod at the right angle against current and fish jump. Like when he jumped, I should have had it pointing to the left to kind of counteract it. But I was super super psyched that there was a big tarpon to my feet. But it is what it is.
Well, the good thing out of this story that we just got from you, I'm going to coin the new phrase. So now that every time this happens to any fisherman all over the world, we're just going to call it, I pulled an Aaron.
That's it. That's it. Did you get him? Nah, I had an Aaron.
So this week I've been hearing a lot of reports. The fluke fishing's been heating up. It's getting really good really early. The stripers are still around biting, and those yellow-eyed demons are coming in strong, man. The bluefish are all around, and the fishing has been good. From north to south Jersey, it's been on fire. So we can't really complain up here in the Northeast.
No, and I've even gotten reports from a good friend of mine. He went up and did that porgy trip on the Montauk, or up in Montauk on the Viking fleet. And they had weak fish, man. They were porgy fishing. I don't think sea bass is open up there yet, but they had sea bass. They had porgy. I mean, everybody got their fill of big porgies. And then, again, a couple weak fish, dude, that were really unexpected. So, I mean, I feel like this year, Chris, is going to be one of them years again that I wish I would have been in New Jersey still. And, weak fish are more plentiful. Striped bass are showing up bigger and bigger. And the blues are back, dude. So, I mean, you got a lot to look forward to in New Jersey right now, for sure.
I mean, it's kind of crazy, man. I'm in Jersey, you're in Florida, and we're both Jersey guys, but yet I'm missing Florida where I can wake up, put my shoes on, walk across the street, and make a cast. And yet you want to be back in Jersey. So, I mean, we're living unparalleled lives that
for sure
are just not coinciding with each other very well.
That's all right. I enjoy the suffer, dude, and I think I've always enjoyed the hunt, the kind of like plotting and getting to that point to where I think I have everything right, and then seeking out the migrations, the whole nine, dude. Like I love the science behind it more than just flip flops and jumping across the street kind of deal. But that's good too. I do it every day. I do it every day.
Yeah, man. So this week we got one of your longtime friends and owner of Flip Rocks, Anthony Garfail, and he's got a great product. It seems like it's something that is also always needed for any fisherman, especially if you're a surfer jetty type of guy. Makes a great product. It's very different, and it's definitely something that a lot of people can benefit. What I like about the people that we're bringing on the show is we're showing the audience the smaller companies that you don't really hear of all too much, that don't get the advertising they deserve, but it's definitely something that is needed. And Anthony seems like a great guy, and it seems like he also makes a hell of a product. Like we spoke about it in the interview, this is something that, for guys like me who don't have the greatest balance in the world or whatnot, and if you got to get over those rocks for certain places like Sebastian Inlet, where you fish out of, where it's a very rocky place, this is something that a lot of guys could definitely use and feel more comfortable and help them out while they're fishing. But before we get into that interview, guys, of course, I got to say my spiel. If you like what you're hearing, smash that thumbs up button, hit the subscribe, leave a comment, let us know what you think, help other fishermen find us.
Listen, when we're talking about flip rock flip flops, dude, this has been a product, guys, that I've been beating up for many years now. This is a gentleman that saw something in me when not many other people did. So, I take a liking to Anthony and his company, because not only can I say great things about that man, but his freaking product I beat the crap out of from New Jersey to Florida. And guys, it performs for me every friggin' time. So if you're looking for something to stay stable and to be comfortable, you got to look them up.
Absolutely, guys. Well, I hope you enjoyed this interview with Anthony Garfail. And here we are, guys, owner of Flip Rocks, Anthony Garfail. How we doing, buddy?
Doing great, guys. Thanks for having me on the show. Appreciate it.
It sounds great. You have a great product. We like using them, and just want to let the people know more about you.
Yeah. So just kind of a brief overview, a little bit of history. So we're a relatively small company. We're all fishermen. There's 3 of us actually, but only 3 people actually run the whole company. And it was based on necessity, So I'm a huge fisherman. I fish for everything from panfish to shark. I mean, and everywhere in between. Wherever there's water, I'm fishing. I don't care if it's a puddle, a river,
anything that's got a tail, you want to catch it.
Oh yeah. I'll catch any gar. I don't care. Catfish, suckers. It's all good. Man. So I was up in upstate New York about 5 years ago now, Pulaski, New York. And if you know about the area, it's got an amazing salmon fishery. It's like the Alaska of the East Coast. So they stock king salmon, and there's usually droves of them, thousands of come into the river in the fall to spawn. And there's also steelhead and brown trout and whatnot. So they have an early run usually in like August, depending on the water. And it's obviously very hot in August, and lately it's been hot in October too, because the weather's been a little crazy lately. So I was out there 5 years ago with my son, and right behind my house, the river's good stretch of the river's right there, and standing on a rock, and my sneakers, actually I had flip-flops on, flip-flops, and there was guys wet wading. Some guys were wearing waders, and they were sweating like you wouldn't believe profusely. It was 85 degrees. They're wearing heavy waders.
Right.
And, you had everywhere in between. You had guys wearing shorts, guys wearing waders, and you had shorts and flip-flops. And my son's next to me, and there's king salmon coming by, 30-pound kings coming by, and we're hooking on to them, and the water was pretty high. I'm almost losing him. He's like 6 years old. He's going down, grabbing onto him. I got a fish on. I'm all over the place. I'm on the rocks. I'm sliding. I had that light bulb moment, like, why don't they make a cleated flip-flop, I'm like, why does that exist, So I ran back to the house. I told my wife, listen, I had this really good idea, a cleated flip-flop. That's how it all kind of started. And she goes, yeah, she's not really a big fisher person. So she's like, yeah. Great, whatever. Went to work. I told a couple of the guys I work with there, a couple of them are big fishermen. And the first thing one of the guys does was he goes to Google, goes, that has to exist. Let me Google that. Goes on Google, types in cleated flip-flop, nothing comes up. Right. He's like, I don't think they make a product like this. He's like, this might be something really interesting, So from that, it was like, all right, what kind of name, you want to come up with? So I'm driving home one day, and I'm thinking about rocks. So I'm thinking about flip-flops, and I'm like, flip rocks. I'm like, yeah, that sounds pretty cool, flip-flops. And this kind of popped in my head like that. So got the domain name, was available, which is pretty crazy, fliprocks.com. Right. And then did some research, and that was kind of the start of the journey. And I got to tell you guys, I mean, getting into something like this, it's something that I don't think I'd ever do it again, because it sounds all great at the start. Oh yeah, we'll just create a flip flop and we'll, it'll be awesome.
Yeah.
Gosh, the things you have to do with the legalities and the factories and the tariffs and the shipping and the manufacturers and everything. It's unbelievably difficult to do this. I mean, especially footwear, something easy, a little tchotchke wouldn't be a problem. But when you're developing like a footwear, especially, I mean, a lot goes into it. So once I got into it, I ended up having a design agency. I told them I wanted to do, and they kind of sketched everything out. We did 2 CAD drawings, and then we had 10 to 12 different variations of the same flip flop in different ways, shapes, and forms, and came up with the design we liked, manufactured it, and made a whole bunch of versions, and kept trying and testing, and finally got to where we thought it was like pretty rock solid. And then, of course, we started to sell that, and people were like, "Oh, this is great, but I don't wear flip flops. I wear sandals." I'm like, "Oh, great! Here we go."
Yeah.
Now, so I find out half the population in the U.S. Pretty much are flip flop people. The other half is sandal people. So create the sandal, and then that was pretty. People love that. I love the flip flop as well. And I'll show you kind of what's going on here. So the flip flop. This was the original. This was the original shoe that we kind of came up with, pretty much just like that. So the features that we wanted to see when we told the design firm what we wanted to have a toe guard, which protect your toes from kicking rocks and stumps and things like that.
Yeah, definitely. That's big right there.
We wanted a cupped heel and arch support, to make sure that you're inside of it real well and you're not going to flip out. I mean, it's really nothing. And Aaron, you could attest to this. It's nothing like a flip flop. It's like you're in a sneaker or a boot, honestly.
100%.
It's so comfortable. I mean, it's part of the reason why it's a little pricey is because there's actually multiple molds involved. There's an outsole mold, which is this outer piece here. Then there's the insole footbed. And then there's, of course, the bottom pieces, which are interchangeable. So these actually come off. They're Velcroed in.
Nice.
And we've got a number of different types of bottoms you can put on here.
What I like about the product is it seems as if it gives you the comfortability of a sneaker, but it's open, so your foot is not sweating,
Right.
and you still have that grasp as if you're wearing a corker, which it's in turn is safe because we all know jetties, they get wet, a little bit of a wave comes or anything like that, it'll swoop you right off and it hurts. Guilty.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And Anthony, before you continue, but I mean, Chris, I've been preaching to you forever now about these flip flops. And I'll tell you, the toe guard in the front is like, I'm the hugest fan of that. I can't tell you how many times that I've been in these real tight, nasty spots where like the rock is just fitting around your ankle, like where you stick your foot in and the rock bends over or folds over. Listen, that flip flop has saved my feet so many times just because of the toe guard. Not only the cleats and I mean the anti-slip and all that, but just because it protects your toe. I mean, it's a game changer, and it really is, man.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially for somebody like me. Unfortunately, I'm a type 2 diabetic, but along with that comes diabetic nerve pain, which in turn is basically you got really sensitive feet. So, when I'm walking, my flip-flops around the street or something, sometimes you'll stumble a little pebble and it's painful. So something like that, I can see how much of a game changer that really is.
Oh, yeah.
What's crazy? So the diabetic thing, it's interesting you said that because we have some customers that have told me that I guess depending on what type of diabetes you have, I'm not I'm knowledgeable on this really, but I guess you can actually lose feeling in your feet completely. And believe it or not, this back strap, I mean, people were saying that, this saves them because it doesn't come off their foot. So some people lose the shoe and they would just end up walking with no shoe on and end up just really messing up their foot real bad. And not even knowing because there's no feeling. So this actually keeps it from never falling off, and it's the only flip flop that really is going to keep it on your foot.
And what I like about that is you can be, so grabbed onto the rock with the corkers and actually slip out, but because you kind of have that back shield, you're not going to slip out and then eventually step on the rock,
right?
Which would make it very painful.
Right, yeah. So, that comes off too. So if you don't want to have that feature, we call this like a 4-wheel drive, if you wanted to really stay in there. It actually changes the way the shoe works too. It makes it more like you're in a sandal as opposed to flip-flop. So it's actually a pretty cool feature. And then it's removable. So we've kind of tried to think of everything you possibly want in some footwear, So that was kind of the first, design model, so to speak. And then the sandal, this is the beauty of everything we do. The sandal which has everything's exactly the same except the upper, right? So this is just all straps, you know. And there's lots of adjustment here too. I mean, literally, there's a adjustment here. It's Velcro. There's a strap you can pull down the. If you can see that, you can pull this down and it tightens everything up. It's a Z strap.
Yeah.
The back part's got an adjustment back here. So there's like literally 4 different ways to adjust this. So you can get it, you know, pretty much rock solid on your foot and comfortable, you know. And it's like you're wearing like nothing. It's so light, super comfortable. They're very lightweight to begin with. And these are the felt pads on the bottom of them. And the cool thing is that everything that we make, all our soles, outsoles, go fit on every single shoe we make. So we have a boot. This thing has been, I got to tell you, I've been to a million shows throughout the U.S. over the last couple of years, and people absolutely love this. I've been having a lot of trouble with factories getting this made, unfortunately. We're finally, I think, about there where I've had a lot of our factories had issues and things, you know, they closed down because of the COVID and everything else. And there's been a lot of problems with the boot. I mean, you got neoprene, it's waterproof. These are cleats, one of the kind of cleats. This is the Rivermaster cleat, which are the smaller stainless steel spikes.
Yeah, that looks like a badass boot.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. As a matter of fact, we did a show with those Salt Strong guys. I don't know if you know those guys.
Yeah, we've heard of them. Yes.
Yeah, they tested the boot out. They said it was their favorite boot out of all the other products out there. Big companies like Sims and whatnot. They're like Flip Rocks. I was like, oh my gosh. I mean,
that's huge.
You know, going against like these massive entities with billions of dollars. You know, and we're like,
yeah. I mean,
we're doing it, you know what I mean? So.
I mean, you had an idea and you broke into probably, I would say, the absolute most competitive part of anybody's wardrobe, which is something you put on your feet. You know, with all these companies out there like Columbia, Nike, Adidas, all, you know, everything, and it's just the quality of your product it's telling itself, because in such a competitive market, you're still in there and you're fighting and you're doing really, really well. So that shows the quality of the product, that everybody who uses it likes it and it's doing well.
Yeah, no, exactly. I mean, we've got that, you know, small business mentality where everybody is super important to us. I mean, people call, they get my cell, you know, I talk to everybody. So it's like, we're not like, you're not just calling a big conglomerate that's just going to put you in a queue. I mean, we're really family oriented, you know. We're small enough to be like that. I mean, you know, who's to say if we ever get big and bought out, different ball game. But right now we're super, you know, customer oriented and you know, mom and pop type atmosphere, you know. But
I can't stress enough, before you move on, buddy, I can't stress enough to tell you how grateful I am that you took a chance with me. I mean, many years, it feels like now, ago, when I reached out to him, Chris, through email, I think it was, or even text, and I gave him, you know, everything I had to offer. Hey, this is my social media accounts. This is what I do. I have a passion behind me, and I'm trying to grow. Anthony didn't look at me like, oh my God, dude, I got 20 of these friggin' emails, bro. Like, move on, good luck. He saw something, or he just took a chance, and I can't tell you how appreciative I am that you did that, man, because I saw your product, man, and I was like, I've got to have this. I don't care if this man even sees anything in me. I'm going to go buy this product, because, like, I can't see Florida fishing on the inlets, in the inlets, you know, around rocks up north without this product on my foot, man. So I just wanted to say thank you, buddy, for real.
No, I appreciate that. Thank you as well. I really appreciate it. Yeah, man, you've been great. You know, I've seen you before out there and doing it. So, you know, you got a passion for the sport and, and the people that, you know, kind of gravitate toward it. So that's awesome. You know, it's like we're one big family anyway. So that's how it kind of works with you know, fishing. Right.
And you know, just to piggyback on what Aaron said, the first time I went fishing with Aaron off the surf, or I guess the jetty, you can say, he was like, "Yo, come on down to the rocks," and I'm just like, "Nah, no." And then he's got these flip rocks on. He's just prancing like Little Red Riding Hood on these things. He's like, "It's easy." I'm like, "Well, yeah, bro, you got some corkers on. I don't."
That was my first spiel to him on what the flip rocks were. You know, I was like, oh, no, not corkers, Buzz. Like, look at these damn things. I gave him the whole, you know, convertible pull off real quick and put back on. And I mean, I can't believe that, you know, I haven't opened up a store here in Florida and people are buying me out, dude. Like, I feel people are sleeping on your product because it is so friggin' innovative and it's so well made that, like, I mean, when's the last time I've called you and said, hey, I need another pair? I mean, it has to be over a year.
Years,
right?
yeah.
So these things, I mean, you see how much I fish and how much, I mean, I'm in the water. I beat the life out of these things, dude. I leave them in the driveway covered in sand. I know you probably hate me for that, but I power wash them the next day. I mean, hit them with the hose the next day. I let them dry, put them on my feet, and I'm gone. And that's been a routine for over a year, and they still haven't given out on me, man. So
that's awesome. That's great to hear. Love to hear that. Awesome.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, so we got a new product coming out. I just got these finally finished from the factory. It took my gosh, the turnaround time was 180 days. They said now it was another 2 months after that. Generally, just so you know, when you ever place an order for apparel or footwear, it's usually they say 60 to 90 days is kind of the norm. Now it's triple that. With the way things are in the world. So you're looking at like a year sometimes turnaround time. You place an order, you get a year later, which is really bad actually. But anyway, so we came up with this new item. This is really cool. This is a slide, right? So
man.
Again, the exact same technology, right? Everything's the same except the upper. This basically is a huge piece of the same Velcro, super strong Velcro that holds the pads on, right? And you can just put this sucker on. You find which however you want it to fit, tight, loose, whatever you want to do. The back strap again is removable, so you can take it off completely.
Yeah.
And what's awesome about this, what I love about this, first off, it's so simple. You slide right in, you're gone. 2 seconds. Right. I mean, the sandal's great, but it's got straps. And some people love sandals. I do. I'm not really a sandal guy. I like to wear them because they feel comfortable. But, I'm more of like quick, like you. I just want to get in, get out, and go, So this thing, slide right in. You're good to go. And what's great is for waders, I've been using these. Yesterday I was using these. I was fishing the Farmington River in Connecticut, trout fishing. And I've got this product. I'm working with Chota, too, on the side. We're doing a separate product together. It's coming out soon. It's kind of a preview to what they're doing, but we're doing this boot with a neoprene wader and hip boot off of our boot. So it's going to be we're going to call it hip rocks. That's the term.
Nice.
Okay.
So, and the guys at Chota are raving about it. They've been testing it. They think it's the coolest thing ever. This is so light. It's a game changer with the waders because wading boots, as you know, weigh 50 pounds. I mean,
right? Yeah.
Heavy, and they kill you. Can't walk. This is like you're walking on like literally nothing. Like you're walking barefoot. So
I saw the boots. I saw the boots probably, I don't know, maybe about 6 months ago now, and I didn't have it in me to call you and request a pair of these friggin' boots, dude, because like they look so good. I didn't want to do that to you because I was like, I have to at least purchase my first pair from this man because these things look so freaking good. Like I'm drooling over the boots. I really am.
And once I get them in stock here, we're almost done with those. They're still I'm still waiting for. I mean, they're being produced right now, so it's going to do a little bit of testing just to make sure everything's rock solid. But back to this real quick. So what's nice about this is you take a stocking foot wader, right?
Yep.
Whether it be a hip boot or chest wader, stocking foot, and you slip right into this. Right now, you've got instead of having that big wading boot that guys, you're bending over. How about you guys? I'm a little bit older. I get stomach cramps. I get that cramp in your stomach. And you're like, oh my gosh, you got to pull a muscle. What the hell happened? That you don't have a problem with. You slip right in and you're gone. It weighs nothing. You have to put the cleats on the bottom here. And I love this. So you can wear it as just a cool outdoor kind of a shoe. You can wear it with waders. So a lot of versatility here. I just love this thing.
I mean, in all honesty, when you first put it up, I was like, yes, because I'm a big slides guy because the tongs on the flip-flops, they kind of irritate the middle of my toes.
Yep.
So when I saw that come up, I was just like, sold. I want me a pair of those for sure.
Yeah. Yep.
And I didn't think until like maybe the second or third word out of your mouth of having that. Now, what do you call it? I call them bootless waders. But the stocking wader? Is that what you call them?
This with stocking foot usually they're called, or they're breathable waders. They're not neoprenes. Yep. Neoprenes usually have boots associated with them.
Yeah.
So the wader material.
So the stocking foot wader, I hate them. Like I literally stay away from them, and I try to buy a wader set with boots. But again, the wader boots are super freaking heavy. I mean, really, that's always where the tear comes in the neoprene is right above the boot because it's like you're pulling on string basically right there, or a silk. If you can imagine pulling on silk with a heavy boot. To have the ability to slide into a slide with a friggin' strap around your heel, I mean, again, game changer, Ant. That was so genius to think of something like that for the stocking boots, man.
Yeah, thanks. I appreciate that. Yeah.
And what I like about it is, as a fisherman, we always carry a ton of gear. The heavy tackle box, the cooler, the rods, the reels. but like we want to be able to be as light as possible.
Yeah.
So when our wardrobe is starting to weigh down, with the boots and everything like this, along with all the gear that we're carrying, having a lighter wardrobe is definitely a lot more comfortable. You're more maneuverable, and that's a great idea. I really like that a lot.
Well, what's great about that too is for traveling. Let's say you're gonna go on a trip, whatever, and you want to pack a day bag, whatever. Maybe you're on a plane, you go to Alaska, you're going down the road, you're going somewhere. You basically take a backpack, you fold up the waders into nothing, they all crunch down into literally like a little small sleeve. You put the shoes on top, and you got all your gear. I mean, imagine having to do that with a pair of neoprene waders with giant boots. I mean, you can't.
Exactly. It's going to take up a lot of your bag.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, and you could even take the waders and slide them into the slides and have 2 slides on both sides of the waders containing the waders all in one package. You know what I mean?
You could do that.
Right.
Actually, yeah.
My mind is running with the slide, dude. Like that's really awesome, man. I love that.
Yeah, thank you.
So let's go back towards the fishing a little bit. I seen a couple posts here on Facebook that you're doing a little bit of trout fishing. Has anything kind of been mind blowing over the past few months here? Have you got out for stripers yet, or is it mostly small trout?
So I was up north in Pulaski, New York. That's where I kind of do all my freshwater fishing, so to speak, my trout fishing, my salmon fishing. And this year it was really tough. There was a lot of very high water. The weather was horrible up northeast. I don't know if you saw. It's just been terrible, raining, cold. It was super cold. It just got warm like 2 days ago. It's like 80 today, which is like we're all dying. With like our blood's like oil, like 80 degrees. So it's like 40, the last like 2 months. Anyway, we were up there, and it hasn't been too good. Like I said, usually the spring's really good up. You have the dropbacks they just spawn and they're going back into the lake. So
yeah,
they're no good. But the striper season, we had a bunch of striper come into the Hoosie. They spawn up in there, and you get big droves of striper. And that's kind of hit and miss too. You know what I mean? You get 100 striper bass one day, and the next day it'll be nothing. It's really you got to hit it right for whatever happens there. But the big cows will be coming in soon too from the ocean.
Yeah.
But haven't gotten out there yet. I've got a boat, so I fish the Sound a lot, the Long Island Sound. And we did real well last year. I mean, we killed it. But I went yesterday to the Farmington and tons of trout. I mean, that's the first time I was ever there, and it's only 40 minutes from my house. I don't know why. But it was awesome. And I caught a bunch of brook trout, all brook trout actually. They were all brookies. They were like 10, 12 brook trout.
Nice, I got a buddy of mine who for years has been inviting me up to Pulaski, and This year, I finally, I'm talking about Jose Pulaski, and this year I finally agreed to go with him, and then he got a report from a buddy of his that the water was too high, so he ended up calling off. And I'm just like, after about 6 years, I finally say yes, and then we call it off because the conditions are not great.
If you guys ever want to go, you let me know. You say, we'll send my place over there, dude. We'll go, definitely. Just give me a call, if it's good, and we'll go up there, definitely.
But fortunately, we have a really good friend of the show and a phenomenal captain up in Sodas Point, who fishes Lake Ontario, and
big browns up there.
The pictures that this man is sending me, man, I feel like like Pookie, I want to go out there and catch. I'm talking about 5, 6, 8 pound brown trout. I mean, these are big fish up there, man. It's a very phenomenal fishing up there. Something I never would have thought of. But I'm not really a freshwater guy, but seeing these fish is definitely giving me the urge to go out there and catch some of these. It's really awesome fishery.
You get a steelhead on a fly rod or a center rod in the river. I mean, a big 10, 15 pounder. I mean, dude, you don't understand. They're like a snook, I guess you could say. You compare it with a snook, maybe. Wow. Or even a tarpon, possibly, I would say. I mean, I don't know about tarpon. Obviously, much more muscly and much bigger. But they are super fast. I mean, they'll burn your reel up if you don't really know what you're doing. I mean, I've been
dying to get up there, and I've been fishing the rivers of Potter County, Pennsylvania, ever since I was a young kid. We go up with the family and do trout season every year for a couple weeks, but I was never able to get on the steelhead runs or any of the big migrations, man. And when I moved to Florida, I just started following and getting in contact with guys that were doing that. And I'm like, I can't believe I didn't tap into what was in my backyard that entire time I was there, But, Ant, listen, if you're ever, my mind's running in circles trying to figure out if we should plan a trip together with Scott or if I should just put Ant in contact with Scott and just get him over in the boat before we can get to it. But,
before you go on, I'm pretty sure that if he booked with Scott and then we said, hey, we're going up there, Anthony's coming too, He's just going to be like, all right, we're coming. Well, I'm coming back. I know that's not an issue.
Scott's got a really nice boat up there, man, on the lake, and he's doing phenomenal numbers. But I mean, wall mounters, dude, like record size fish that would just, it would blow your mind, dude. So
Yeah. No, it's nice up there, man. It's like we always say, it's Disneyland for sportsmen upstate. I'll tell you. I mean, you got all kinds of species, really. I mean, you've got that big pike, you got walleye, you've got of course all the trout, species that you can think of, salmonids and stuff like that. But I mean, it's a great fishery, and like you said, they're huge. Everything's huge,
Right.
All right. So you touched on that you fished the Long Island Sound a lot. So are you based out of Connecticut?
Yeah, I'm in Newtown, Connecticut. Yeah.
Okay. So preferably, what do you prefer to go for? Freshwater or saltwater?
That's a tough one. So I mean, based on I guess the season, I mean, all spring I'll fish steelhead and trout, and then once June hits, I'll switch over. I'll start hitting. I'll go for fluke. I'll start going for sea bass, big sea bass, knuckleheads out there.
Yeah.
Of course, we have a phenomenal blackfish season. Oh my gosh, the Todd in Connecticut in the fall are insane. I mean,
I've heard and I've seen pics, man.
They're big, dude. I see some pictures. These things are they're 10-pound tall. They're huge, and these things fight head down. It's like a smallmouth bass if you're familiar. Head down the entire time, and they're just pulling straight down. They're fun. They're great eating too. Awesome eating fish.
Tog are one of those fish that it can be very frustrating, but when you get that right one, man, it's great. You can go 6 hours out the rail, not catch nothing, and then you get that one where it means business. And then when you get it in the net, it's just like a little fat kid when he gets a piece of cake. He's just like, yay! You know what I'm saying? But
there was a time there, and when I was living back north, I bought 4 or 5 setups just for tog fishing. It was the Shimano Trevally, I think it is. I'm probably butchering that name.
Trevella,
right? And then the jigging rod, and then I would buy the Saltese lever drag. And just the perfect combo for just bottom fishing. And I'd go out every friggin' fall. I mean, even in the spring, I think April was the start of tog. And I mean, we would try for the double digits. And there was one year, I think it was January, I pulled into a double digit off of the AC Reef on a flat glass day when the water was just super cold. But only time I pulled a double digit, and I've been hunting ever since. And I heard Connecticut's got them loaded, dude.
Oh yeah, dude, I'm not kidding you. I mean, we go out, we'll limit out every time pretty much,
Right.
We get a lot of shorts, a lot of big ones too, though. You get a mixed bag pretty much, but when they're in, I mean, they're just everywhere, fish spots obviously, but you'll hammer them. I don't know if you guys, we usually use green crabs for them. That's what we use.
Green crabs, white leggers. I like to use shrimp. I'll go to ShopRite, buy a bag of frozen shrimp, and then when I get it down there and I turn on the shrimp bite, they stop biting the green crabs, and everybody's like, "Hey, man, I hope you got enough for everybody." I'm just, sorry, guys. But it's a phenomenal fishery, and when you first get into it, you're gonna lose a lot of tackle, you're gonna lose a lot of gear, but luckily I was blessed with. He'll never take this name, but in my opinion, the king of the tog fishery, which is Captain Jerry Passerino. That man sat next to me, taught me how to fish for these fish, and I've been hooked ever since.
Nice, yeah.
So
I just a couple years ago, one of the rigs. I mean, you guys probably know. I forgot the name. I can't believe I'm drawing a blank right now. But I just started doing something. This captain took me out of Montauk. I fish out of Montauk quite often too, which is that place is nuts. That's upstate. You get humongous doormat fluke, humongous blackfish. I mean, the porgy are 4 or 5 pound porgy. Humongous porgy. It's just ridiculous.
It's a fishing paradise.
Yeah, every sea bass is a keeper. I mean, it's just nuts. But he was showing me a way, and again, I've got the rig. You could probably check it out. You probably even know it. You take the back of the shell off completely, and then you put the 2 hooks in through the claws, basically.
Snap.
Thank you. But at my time, I'm like, what the hell's that rig called? That's my favorite rig because before that, I've been fishing with blackfish for years, and you get the shell, it comes back everything's eaten with a shell,
Yep.
Yeah.
You guys dude, take the shell off, and you'll get them every time. And he's right. I mean, it was such a huge difference, especially with the big ones, these glob.
Yeah.
But,
absolutely, man. I mean, what's been taken over for the past few years are the jigging for tog. A couple companies out there make a phenomenal jig, which is SNS Bucktails and Toggy Time jigs. They make a phenomenal jig, but for some reason, I just like to stick with the old trusty. For me, the snafu works the best. But some of these guys, the absolute pigs that they bring up on these jigs, it's amazing, man.
Yeah, we usually plan a trip once a year. Last year in May, I think it was, we went up to Montauk and we went on I think it was the Viking fleet out of Harbor.
Yep.
And we tried to do 2 trips, but we did one in May. I think it was sea bass was closed, but it was porgy. And I mean, of course, you're catching lump head friggin' sea bass that you can't keep, right?
Yeah.
But I mean, we literally limited it out with porgy. We made a decision with the captain. We're like, listen, we're not going to keep as many as you're able to. We started zip tying the big ones, like putting a zip tie through the dorsal, and then throwing all the smaller ones back, dude, because it was just. Like, you were so right. There's so many big ones, and just everybody could have filled the cooler full of 100 of these damn things, if they wanted to. But, Montauk's an amazing, beautiful place, dude. I mean, we try to go back up in the fall for the Mook House Madness. You ever hear that trip?
Yep.
Oh, God. Chris,
Yep.
I mean, 50-pound fish on live eels, dude, around Block Island is just, it's the most epic experience, dude. And it's on a charter boat, for God's sakes. Like,
Wow. I mean, hey, another embarrassing moment for me. I've lived in the Northeast practically my whole life, and I've never fished Montauk.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, I've always had really good fishing right here in my backyard, Raritan Bay, and the ocean side over here, and I just never felt the need to leave. But since I started exploring more and catching different species of fish, it's just like, wow, it's really amazing. You know what I'm saying? And Montauk is definitely one of those destinations that I want to go to for sure.
I'll tell you one thing, Montauk in the fall for the striped bass run when they're migrating down south is unbelievable. I mean, you don't understand how sick it is. You literally all you see is like humongous bass rolling over each other, like literally attacking bait, like, because there's so much bait. You see the bait balls just coming by you, and then, there's a sick current there because it's coming around the point, and you'll sit there, you're on the rock, and you'll see huge bass right in front of you, and you almost, it's going to sound crazy, you're snagging them in the back sometimes. You can't avoid it. I mean, there's so many bass. You're snagging 20-pound bass in the back, and you go, oh my gosh, you feel like an idiot because you can't be snagging, game fish.
Yeah.
You don't try, it just happens, and you're like, oh.
It was unavoidable. I can imagine what that feels like, freaking foul hooking a, 50, 60-pound fish. I mean, that's got to be insane, But, when it comes to the stripers, I'm thankfully spoiled, because I get Raritan Bay stripers, you know what I'm saying? This is where they come to spawn. So, when it comes to the striper fishing, I'm a bit spoiled with that.
Yeah, I love stripers. It's one of my favorite fish. Those guys are awesome. The blues are, they're all right. There's been, not about you guys, but the bluefish has been terrible for the last several years. I mean, they've just been decimated by people keeping too many snappers, everything else. And
honestly,
years ago, where like you could walk across them, now it's like you get one twosies, which is nuts. I mean, it used to be like just birds going crazy, bluefish going crazy. Now you don't see that anymore. I mean, you see a lot of bunker out there, tons of bunker all over the place. But
yeah, I actually just came back. I was in South New Jersey a couple hours ago. I was at one of my club's barbecues, Atlantic City Saltwater Anglers. Guys fishing right off the beach, just bringing in blue after blue after blue. I'm like, man, it's mid-May. It's pretty early. Like, what's going on? Like, I don't know what's going on, man. But the bluefish are already here. And,
well, Chris, I'm going to be honest with you. There was a few years ago. I mean, God, I feel like it's been forever now. But maybe 5-6 years ago, while I was still in Jersey, the bluefish came through this time of the year so thick to where, like, Anthony's not lying, man. Birds are everywhere, and I told you a story in the past. I was hitting them with the prop. Like, they were so thick in the bay where we run and be like, what is all this blood coming from? We're literally running and mowing down bluefish. They were that thick in the bay, dude. Yes. And then, again, Anthony was right. They kind of dissipated. Everybody was keeping too much. But then I just saw recently, following a couple of reports from local guys in South Jersey, man, I think they're coming back a little stronger this year, dude. I mean, Chris is right. They're pulling them off the beaches, the inlets, the jetties. I mean,
they put a lot of regulation on them, which is good. They had to do that. Yeah. They got to control. But I mean, it's just like the stripers too. There was a moratorium back on them thing. When I was a kid, I was fishing. I've been fishing for stripers for 40 years.
Right.
And when I was a kid, I was catching stripers off the beaches, and you had to throw them back then. There was a moratorium for, I think it was, 3-4 years, something like that. It was quite a while, longer than you would think. And they came back so strong after that. We had striped bass where it was like insane amount of fish, and that kind of petered off a little bit. But now it's been pretty stable, So
yeah, I gotta be honest, man. The bluefish to me taste disgusting. There are people who have figured out ways to cook them, and hey, that's great, but it's not for me.
Smoke them, dude. Smoke them. Put them in brine and smoke them. They're awesome. I'm telling you right now.
Yeah.
Oh, they're good.
But for me, it's one of my most favorite fish to catch on light tackle. I mean, there's not much in our waters inshore that gives you a fight like a bluefish.
Oh, yeah.
You know, it's an awesome fish to catch.
Yeah.
But what I wanted to ask you is like, I'm not sure if you stick to like your home base area or if you go out other places and fish. But what is probably your favorite fish to target?
I'd have to say coho salmon, definitely by far.
Nice.
Yeah.
They're the hardest to catch. They're the fastest. They're the fastest swimmers up the river. They don't hang around. They get there. They bolt right to their spawning grounds. So
Right.
you got kind of a window, and they're beautiful fish. I mean, they're red with big pipes on them, and they're just such a cool fish. My favorite fish ever. You know.
Yeah, I'm gonna try and get my buddy Jose to come on here and talk about salmon again. We did an interview with him a couple years ago when we first started this channel, and I mean, this guy would rather go salmon fishing over tuna fishing.
Yeah.
You know, that's how hardcore salmon person he is. And I've heard stories, and I've never caught a salmon, but I mean, it's one of those fish where when you hear people who love doing it, it gets you intrigued because you hear all these people say, "Oh man, it's got the craziness of a bluefish, but the power of a tuna," and it's just like
they're really smart too. You'd be surprised. I mean, I'm not kidding you, dude. These fish are smart. They more than like I can't tell you how many times like you got one on. They run right to your feet, and you're like, "Oh man, I lost it." You're reeling in. It's at your feet, and once it's tight, it feels boom, and it pops your line. You're like, "What the hell just happened?" Happens all the time. I've had fish swim across the river and go like this and literally break the line off on a rock, and they're taking their head and they're cutting the line on a rock. And I'm watching them going, "Oh my gosh!" I mean, I don't know how many fish that really do that. I guess it's they, some fish are smart, I guess, than others. But I mean, it's like you're like, dude, you're like a person. Like, what is this? You're like, you're free.
You just do that?
Yeah, it's definitely one of those fish that it's definitely one of those fish that even a person who doesn't fish, I think when you hear something like that, you're like, man, I want to know what that's like, and you just get really intrigued and you pick up a rod and you go. You know, especially somebody who's never fished before. If that's probably the first fish you ever catch, you're definitely gonna be hooked. That's what it sounds like.
And they're acrobatic. They come right out. And they get hang time. They just like boom, you know, and you're like watching, like whoa, you know, it's a trippy experience. I tell you, it really is.
You know what I think the killer was for me is that it was in my backyard. So I was taking trips to Cape Cod, Martha's Vineyard, Montauk, and I was spending weekends and almost weeks in the truck and in the back of the truck to be able to be in that fishery. To think that I could have just went 1 hour over and been fishing rivers, I didn't even try to figure out that fishery, and I slept on it, and I'm regretting it now. That's for sure.
Yeah. You guys go for mahi at all? I've never really.
I do.
Mahi,
yes.
But I mean, that's the other one. That's on my list. There's a couple fish on my list. Mahi, 100%.
Oh yeah.
Of course.
I hear you, man. That's actually a fish where you don't have to go all the way south to catch. A good friend of mine, he's actually the only charter boat in New Jersey that I'm 100% sure offers mahi trips, and we go pot hopping for them out in the mud hole. Mm-hmm. And the first time I caught a mahi, I mean, it was a little guy, but I was so excited because you see this beautiful green fish, man, and it's flipping all over the place, and it's exciting. And he looks at me, he's just like, "Yeah, that's a little one." I'm like, "I don't care, dude. It's my first mahi. That's freaking awesome." But it's definitely an experience, man. It's definitely something you wanna hook into for sure.
Yeah, they come off Montauk actually in the summertime, a couple miles offshore, maybe 5-6 miles offshore. You get the tuna up here too. I like to do that.
Yeah.
I don't really go. I haven't do too much offshore. I like to get into that more. I haven't really had the opportunity so much, so that's something I want to do. In the future, definitely.
Well, to be honest, Ant, depending on again, it really depends on weather and current and the temperature of the ocean, how it moves in and out. But there was a year in Atlantic City, I had a 16-foot bay boat, and I would poke out the inlet, and the first buoy I think was not even a quarter mile out of the inlet of Atlantic City, and we were catching chicken mahi off of that inlet buoy, man. I mean, little bucktail, little S&S bucktail with a grub on the tail, or basically what you're using for fluke. And we pitched at that friggin' buoy, dude, and we pulled chicken mahi. But it was all because of the current and the temperature at the time. It was like pushing super close into land where they were catching baby barracuda and cast nets. You know what I'm saying? Out of Atlantic City.
Wow.
So yeah, it was just one of them trippy years, man. But it's due to happen again,
Yeah, that's cool.
Absolutely, man. But hey, unfortunately, we're running out of time. But I want to say a big thank you to Anthony Garfail for coming on to the show. And if you can tell everybody where they can find your products if they want to take a look at it, and I'll drop a link in the description down below.
Sure. So www.fliprocks.com is our site. You can buy anything that we have on our site. In terms of other places, there's lots of shops. If you did a Google search on Flip Rocks, you can see who's local to your area, who may be carrying them in the shop, near you. But yeah, I appreciate that. Thank you very much.
Absolutely, man. Do me a favor, man. Show me that slide one more time because I'm about to go to your website after this interview and order me a pair.
There it is.
Those are awesome, man. I really like that a lot. That's a great concept, and I think that's going to be super comfortable. I want to get my feet into a pair of those for sure.
Yeah, this is super strong material. This is not going to break out no matter what you do. You will not break this shoe. That's one thing we pride ourselves on. Everything's marine grade,
Yeah,
so we're meant to take salt and just get really get the heck kicked out of it, really, and it'll.
And that's perfect for a guy like me because one thing I hate doing is I hate going shopping. I really do. And unless if it's a tackle shop, I do not want to go shopping. Like I'm wearing the same pair of sneakers for the past 2.5 years. They're fine. They're not ripped. They're comfortable. So that's something that I definitely want to have in my closet for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, you guys definitely won't be upset with Anthony's product there with Flip Rocks, guys. I've beat the hell out of these things for over, I think it's 4 years now, and these things have never given out on me. Never had a strap pop, never had a cleat pop. I mean, they're not even dulling on me, guys. So I can't stress enough, if you're looking for a good product that won't give out on you, check his product out, guys, please.
Absolutely, guys. And one more time, thank you, Anthony. Appreciate your time and coming on the show, brother. Have a good one. Well, man, that was a good interview with Anthony, man. I think he makes a hell of a product, and he's definitely got me sold on that slip-on. That is definitely something I see myself wearing. When I go fishing, I want to be as comfortable as possible. Tank top, shorts, slip-ons. That's all I need, brother.
Yeah. And you know what, Chris, I love the fact that he's always innovating. So he's got the new thing coming out with I can't remember off the top of my head, the company that is like doing that kind of side, collaboration with the wader boots. His boot and the knee-high waders. So, Anthony produces a boot that is super lightweight compared to all the other boots, salt strong friggin' through, his boot amongst all the other ones. And now he's, kind of mushing that with knee-high waders, dude, to where you're never going to feel these things, dude. They're not going to be weighing you down. I mean,
the one of the things that I liked especially, and I'm going to go back to that slip-on because that was definitely my favorite product that he showed. I mean, don't get me wrong, those boots look badass.
Yeah.
But, for guys like me, I'm not really a surf guy.
Right.
I enjoy the rod bending every minute that it's in my hand. So therefore, when I prefer to get on a boat and go hunt for them. Find a big-ass pile of fish and just start fishing it. But there are times where you don't always get the opportunity to be on a boat. And you do get into some waders like in the colder months and stuff like that. Now I do have a pair of cheap waders that I bought for times like that, and they're just slip socks and the flexible waders. There's no boots on them, and I always just end up destroying a pair of boots by putting them over the socks and then in the water with it. So something like those slip-on Flip Rocks is something that is going to be extremely useful for somebody like me, where it's not going to break the bank. It's going to do the job it's meant to do, and it's lightweight and comfortable. So I mean that's really an awesome product, and I'm actually going to. I actually got it up on my screen right now. I'm going to place my order real soon, so I can't wait.
So talking about not breaking the bank, I mean, I sound like a salesman for Flip Rocks, dude, because I literally love their product, dude. But so if you're talking about going in colder climates with the slip-ons, right? You could also rip the bottom pads off, throw on some rubber pads, and now you have a summer slip-on on the boat that you're not going to slide all across the boat when you get bunker blood and guts all over the floor. Then you got 4th of July weekend happening. Girl wants to go down to the rocks with the kids, dude. Bang, you throw some cleats on that sucker, dude. You're on the rocks acting like I was in Sebastian, like Little Red Riding Hood. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, exactly, man.
You're done. I mean, you literally have a convertible, a Mercedes, and a 4x4 truck all in one package, dude, for a low price margin, man. I mean,
versatility is the biggest thing for any fisherman.
Right.
And when you can combine versatility with something that you can wear when you're fishing or not fishing, I mean, that's just a great product in itself.
Yeah, man. And I'm telling you guys, comfortability is not, lacking when it comes to this product, dude. I can't stress enough. They are my go-to flip-flop. And even, I mean, most of the time they're my outdoor shoe every time I step outside, dude, because here in Florida, you don't want something on your feet making your feet sweat. So if I'm not
absolutely.
I'm literally in them flip-flops, dude. The padding is unbelievable. It almost reminds me of like the the purple mattresses that they make.
Yeah.
Foam ones. It almost reminds me of that comfort on your feet, dude. And then you got the toe guard, so when you're walking through sand, you're not getting sand up under your shoe or up under your foot and between the sandal, which everybody hates, dude. So, guys, I can't say enough good things about this product. You literally can't sleep on this man's product.
Absolutely, and I would love every viewer to just at least give a look and check out the description, the link below. Check out Anthony's products, fliprocks.com, and you will find something that can work for you. And just give it a shot, man. I mean, there's nothing on this show that we promote that we don't personally use ourselves. I mean, we are two guys who go fishing more than the average Joe. I mean, granted, Aaron has the capability to go fishing more than I do, because he is in the Sunshine State that I love so much, Florida. But he does a lot of fishing, and this is a product that he has used for 4 years. He brought it to my attention, and it's phenomenal. I've been hooked ever since. You want to be gripped, you want to be safe, you want to be secure on those rocks. This is definitely a product you want to go try out.
For sure, guys. And talking about a good product, we can't forget at all Extreme Bait Tanks. Extreme Bait Tanks has been supporting us for a little while now, and they put out promo code for you guys. So
I heard Damon stepped up a little bit and gave us something to offer to people on the show.
That's it. So it's Angler Talk 10, guys. So if you go to Extreme Bait Tanks website, type in Angler Talk 10. There'll be a code spot there for that code. You guys will get a percentage off of shipping. I mean, listen, the owner of that company, great guy. He will help you out in any friggin' way he can. That's possible. So don't forget Extreme Bait Tanks, guys. Angler Talk 10.
Absolutely, man. If you guys want to get a little sneak peek of the actual product in effect, check out Aaron's fishing YouTube channel, and he made this badass freaking cart for his live bait tank, and it's off the walls. I mean, this product is phenomenal because if you're a live bait guy, I mean, this is something it's not that you want, it's something that you need.
Right.
This tank will keep your bait alive twice as long as anything else on the market. That's without a doubt.
It's literally like having an aquarium on your boat or on a beach car or in the back of your truck, dude. Like the longevity of your bait, being that you have such a quality built tank, is bar none nowhere close to anything else. You can keep bait alive with a bubbler. I'm not saying you can't. You can grab a 5-gallon bucket and keep bunker alive or keep little shiners alive. Of course you can. But if you are a charter company or a charter boat guide or even just a guy transferring bait from your boat to your truck, you gotta give them a look, man. I mean, you're not gonna waste money with bait, that's for sure.
I mean, everybody in the industry uses it, from the novice fisherman to the little bit more hardcore guy like us, or even the big commercial guy like Dave Marciano that we had a couple weeks ago on the show. I mean, even the hard merch has an Extreme Bait Tanks on it, guys. I mean, this is a great product, so definitely check them out and show them some love. So, unfortunately, this week we are out of time. So, we got to get up out of here. I hope you guys enjoyed the show. He's Aaron, I'm Chris, and we're out. Tight lines.
See you guys.
I challenge thee.